Hey there everyone, how's it going? Hope you are doing great. Welcome to the second creativity session of our course. Now, at the end of our last session, I gave you a task which was regarding a modeling process for this structure that you can see in the image, which, as I said, is a mosque set in Iraq. And you were supposed to model it, or at least try to model it yourselves. And for any reason, if you didn't, don't worry, let's do it together. Now guys, before we begin, let's just take a second and really appreciate this art, you can say. Well, I mean, the structure is very, very old, yet has been created quite accurately without, for example, any computers, and this is majestic. Now, guys, other than this spiral form, we got some stairs here that we are also able to model in Revit. But again, our main focus and challenge would be the spiral form itself. And then as another thing, guys, up here, right before the entrance to the minarets, the surface has actually become flattened. But honestly, this isn't really that important. I mean, again, the main focus would be on creating this spiral form. Now, although in our previous session, I actually said that we shouldn't really care about the numerical parameters or dimensions and the rest, but just for the sake of our example, I've prepared some numbers and values, and if you wanted to, you can actually use them as well, guys. As an example, I'm going to set a circle here with a diameter of 40 meters. So its radius would be 20. This is somehow would be the base of our work, guys. Now guys, in our previous session, we talked about swept blend and we saw that we are able to use them for creating spiral forms. However, we need something else here. I'm going to go ahead and open up a generic model here. Then I'm going to activate swept blend on sketch mode. I'm going to set a semicircle like this. Finish. Good. Great. Now guys, as you already know, when we're using this command, we actually need two profiles. What we need to do here would be setting the first profile interiorly, guys. So my first profile would be a rectangular form such as this one. I guess 3 meters of width will do. Now, for the second profile, we kind of need to do the same. I mean, another interior profile. Again, 3 meters of width, but this time, give me 5 meters of height as well. Now, if I finish the process, this will be the result. Now, honestly, guys, the rest of it is actually quite simple. Let me change my view. The next part starts from here. Now, remember, guys, this time, when we activate the swept blend command, we need to start our profile. We need to start setting the profiles from this exterior corner. Starting point here, and the end point would be the interior part of this one. Now, let me start setting the profile so that you would understand the whole thing better. The first profile, I'm going to use pick line, finish. Now, the second profile, I'm going to set this one interiorly again. Now, guys, I'm doing this because I don't want the profiles or the levels to be set on top of each other. Now, again, as for the dimensions, for the width, I'm going to go with 3 meters. And for the elevation code, 10 meters. Finish. Here we go. Now, guys, we basically just need to keep on doing the same thing all the way to the elevation code 60 meters. Now, for the next one, again, exterior to interior. Finish. Then use pick line to set the profiles. So I'm just repeating the same process, guys. The elevation code would be 15 meters for the second profile. Now, as always, guys, because I'm going to repeat the same process over and over again, I'm just going to speed up the video, guys. Alright guys, I'm done here, and I'm sorry about this, but I was actually off by 5 meters. I mean, if you've done this alongside me and your height reached 55 meters, you are absolutely correct. Okay? Now guys, in order to join up these segments, we need to start from the top one. And as I said before guys, remember, some of the segments might not actually get joined up. And as for another point, or well, actually more like a reminder, when you're trying to join the elements, the order of clicking or selecting them is important. See, for example, if you do it wrong, something like this might happen. You might get an error or something. All right, I'm just going to keep on joining these segments. Well, as you can see, some of them can't be joined. Yeah. To be honest, guys, this whole joining thing is not really that important here. The next part of our model that we need to work on would be the center part, for which I'm actually going to go ahead and set an extrusion. I need a circle here then. Something like this. Now I'm going to select it and manually volumize it by 60 meters. Or maybe a little bit more, like 70. No, less, 65. And I'm basically trying to create something similar to the image. Let me see. Okay, seems like we can actually go with 60 meters, guys. Yeah. I mean, we would have a staircase up here then, which actually goes all the way to the top. Yeah. So this will do. Can we join this though? No, we can't. Oh, well, to be honest, guys, this actually makes sense. I mean, we're dealing with different forms here. Alright, what else we can do, though? As you can see, guys, up here, we got some designed openings, windows, voids, whatever you want to call them, that we can model as well. Now, guys, if we zoom in on this, we would see that this actually has a thickness to it as well. So I can, in fact, go ahead and make the extrusion hollow. Something like this, guys. Yeah, this is good. And also, guys, let me add a little bit of height to this, like 62 meters, because I need a little bit more elbow room for doing the whole designing. Now, we can use a 3D view or the plan. I'm just going to go with the plan, actually. I'm going to begin with setting a reference line here, because I want to set my work plane on it. Okay, I got the reference line down here. Now I'm going to press PK and try setting my work plane here. Let me change this to wireframe to see what we're doing exactly. I'll find the floor. Okay, now the command that I need here would be void extrusion. Alright, so if this is the floor, guys, first I need something like this. I mean, I'm somehow trying to create the main form first. So let's see how we can do that. And by the way, guys, keep the proportions in mind. Right, back to my viewport. I'm going to try sketching something like this as the void. Let me see. I guess this will do. I guess we can reduce its height a bit. Now, select these two, double M, and mirror this to the other side. Now, what I'm going to do here would be volumizing this on both sides. I mean, I'm going to move it through the wall on both sides, like this. And then we can cut this out of our form. However, guys, we should actually be setting this in a way that it would give us a better access to the staircase. Let me see if I'm able to use rotation, sorry. No. I can't use rotation here due to the position of the work plane, guys. So, what I'm going to do would be pressing PK, and I'm going to select it. Now, RO, activating the rotation command. Based on the center, I'm going to use SC. And also, guys, we need a copy as well. Let's rotate this. Now, select them both one more time. Again, rotate. Again, based on the center. By 45 degrees. Now, this is quite similar to what we have in the image. However, we need less height here and more width. So yeah, let's go ahead and try modifying this as well. I mean, to be honest, it's not really that important though. Like, it's not our focus, our main focus. We don't really need to emphasize on this, but I'm just going to do this because I want you to see how exactly we would be able to model or remodel a structure ocularly, guys. Alright, so as I said, we need to reduce the height here and then move this edge a little bit. So based on this midpoint, I'm going to set this on, for example, 70. And then the same for this one. Now let's try creating the arc one more time. I guess this is better, guys. Alright, let me see. Okay, seems like this is still wider than what we created, which kind of makes sense. I mean, we're not trying to create something completely the same. We're just trying to create something similar. I mean, something close to it will do. Let's see whether we are able to curve this up a bit more. I'm going to set this line here. And then start setting the curve from this point, maybe. Okay, I guess we got a little bit more curvature now. Alright guys, let's just move on. This is not really that important. Let's do some trimming now. And then after we're done, we can click on finish. Yeah guys, this is actually not bad. This is good. And we can even reduce the height now back to 60 maybe. Yeah, we can actually reduce the height here, guys. This is not bad. And we can even move the wood a little bit more upwards, guys. Yeah, good. Alright, now we can start doing that whole rotation thing again. First, 90 degrees. Select them both. Based on the center. 45 degrees. To get like 8 of them. Now guys, if we take a look at the reference image, we would see that these voids are kind of working as some sort of a cover. I mean, there's an interior wall, a circular interior wall. And then we also need to work on these columns as well. Now, back to the viewport, guys. What I'm going to do would be pressing PK. And then basically, I'm going to try setting a void. Moving a void through this whole thing on the top. I'm going to use this whole thing for adding the columns later on. And let me set these voids here to basically create something like this. Alright guys, next up, we just need to go ahead, change our view first, and then set another extrusion here, an interior one. However guys, we're dealing with several voids and they're all colliding with each other. They are all crossing each other. So Revit doesn't really allow us to do this. So instead of just keep on working with this command, guys, I'm just going to finish this up and then open up a new generic model and create a completely new item here. So I'm going to go ahead and set my new extrusion here. Again, I'm going to use SC. Finish. Okay, this is set on the first level, I guess. Yeah, selected. Now start volumizing it all the way to the top and actually above, like this. Now, for the next part, guys, we actually need to do something that we done before when we were working with Revolve. If you recall, there was an example that we went through and it was kind of similar to this. So, let's go back to the viewport, guys. We somehow need to cut a circular form out of our form here. Now, first off, guys, I actually need to press PK because I need to set a new work plane here. The previous one was for the previous command. It was completely different. So, I'm going to start with setting a reference line here again. More precisely, a reference line up here. Now, PK, let me change the view. Based on the edge here, guys, I guess the midpoint could be somewhere around this part. Let's say, for example, this will be the boundary in which I'm going to work, and I want to somehow cut out something like this out of that form. So again, as I said, it would be a circular form, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and draw we'll sketch a profile here. I guess this will do. Now remove the extra parts and lines. Now set the axis line up here and then finish. Now, honestly, guys, I guess this is actually too much depth. I mean, I'm going to set this on wireframe. And if you take a look at this, this is not a complete semicircle. The void is not a complete semicircle. So I'm just going to move this a bit outwards. Let me check this again. Yeah, this is better. And, oh, I actually realized something, guys. We need to move the void upwards a little bit more. I'm just going to move the sketch upwards like this. Yeah, this is better. Good. Alright guys, next up we somehow need to reproduce this all around our circle. And for doing so, first we need to change up our view to the desktop view. Then I'm going to set this on wireframe. Afterwards I can use array. Let me set the work plane on plan. Then select this again. Array. Second. And radial actually. Now again find the center using SC. Set this here and for the number give me 8. Enter. Now let's set this on shaded. Awesome. Alright guys, for the columns we can either continue our work here or just go back to our previous command. I'm going to hit finish. Now select this one more time. Edit. PK. I'm going to work on this face here. So top view, wireframe. Now for the columns, guys, we actually need to work on these corners. Now, alongside the extrusion that we need here, guys, I'm actually going to use some reference lines as well. So for example, I'm going to set one here. Then another one because I want to find the midpoint in between them. Now, give me a circle here, an ocular one actually. And I guess there are some gaps in between the columns, guys, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So let me move the circle around a bit. Then, alright, I guess we actually have a little bit more elbow room to enlarge the circle. For example, I guess this might do. Yeah. This will do actually. So double M, give me a mirror, then remove the reference lines. Now guys, we actually have a couple of ways for reproducing the columns. For example, we can copy them, or I'm going to select them, press double M, and then mirror them to this side, like this. Now repeat the same process, but this time based on this axis line. And then for the rest of them, guys, I'm going to rotate them and get a copy simultaneously. After we got something like this, we can hit finish. And I'm sure you already know this, guys, but because we only used a single extrusion command, we would be able to, for example, modify these all together at the same time. Like, for example, changing their height, guys. Now, what else? Okay, there is some sort of a floor for the columns. You know what, let's just work on that as well. Yeah, why not? Let's just complete the whole thing. So, let's go back to the top view here and set this on wireframe again. Now, guys, we can use an extrusion here. I mean, set one underneath the columns, which is completely the same as what we have in the image. Afterwards, we need to do some trimming here, guys. Right, good. Now, again, double M. Start doing some mirroring, like before, basically. And after we're done with mirroring, we can continue with rotation, guys. Again, exactly like before. So, the same technique, different forms, different elements. And basically now we have some bases for the columns, guys. You know what, now that I'm looking at this whole thing, I think it's better to reduce the diameter in the columns a bit. Let me see, what's the current diameter? We got 26. I'm going to go with 25. Or even 22. Let me see. Yeah, guys, I guess that would be enough actually. Yeah, I guess we got what we wanted. So I'm just gonna hit finish and we can claim that we modeled this structure. Right, now as for another thing, I'm gonna select everything, then check none, only generic models, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a material to them. For example, maybe a brick. Let's see what we have. I'm looking for something with a bright color. I guess this one is actually close to the image. Let me see. Yeah, this is kind of close. How about the others? No, I guess this will do, guys. All right, finish again. Now select this part and give it the same material. Now I'm going to set my display mode on realistic. Although we did, well, most of the things quite accurately, as you can see, this is quite nice and detailed. Now, as always, we can go ahead and set up a camera for presenting our work, guys. Also, you can set a ground underneath the whole thing. I didn't do it, though. All right, let me give this a little bit of rotation. Give me this angle. Now, again, set this on realistic. And also, let me deactivate the edges. Give me some shadows instead. And then also a background. Maybe another angle for the sunlight, though. Let me just change these items a bit to adjust this whole display mode as best as I can. Alright, I guess it's all done. Alright guys, again, we're done with another remodeling process, and it was quite simple. I mean, we just used the items, simple items that we are already familiar with. Remember guys, such processes are actually quite important because they help you find some sort of a point of view. Now guys, you can actually continue working on this model. I mean, take a look at this. You can actually test this yourselves. As you can see, we got some staircases, and also there are some handrails, as you can see, around the whole thing. And you know what guys, as another practice, as another task, try to add these items to your model as well. Alright guys, we're done here. Hope you all enjoyed our today's creativity session. Don't forget to practice. See you next time. Good luck.